is up, you geezer blow type geezers? It is Chris Milder Games here, and this is going to be a different type of video than what I normally do. Today I want to do a remastering of a video that I did quite a while ago, not like years ago, but a while ago. You see, when I tried to explain myself on this video, I kind of explained things in a way that was completely unscripted, and I don't know what the hell I was saying because I wasn't even reading off a script, just like I'm doing now, trying to improvise. But anyway, this is what I'm going to be talking about in this video. Kula motherfucking Diamond. Yeah, you know that little mascot that I have skiing around in my outros, being seen in my intros, and pretty much being named after a gun in Call of Duty? This one video is dedicated to her because, you know, she's been around in my videos for the best part of 4 years, and this video is going to explain absolutely everything as to why this character is so important to me. Yes, I understand, I know she resembles a young girl, but hopefully this video is going to explain absolutely everything that you need to know about my interest and my connections to Kula Diamond. And you know, like I said, she's been around in my video for a long time. But aside from the fact that I did that video before, this one is the one that matters. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, geezer blokes and geezettes, this video will indeed explain in its entirety my origins of liking Kula Diamond. So without further ado, let's start the video. There's no beating around a bush. Kula Diamond, a character in the King of Fighters series, is my YouTube channel's mascot. She has been for a number of years. I've decided to make a video dedicated to her today because it's her birthday, according to her profile on the SNK wiki page. Kula has featured in a lot of the content that I've made over the past couple of years, from playing as her in the recent KOF games, to making an appearance in the intro to my old FIFA videos, to appearing on a majority of my outros, to helping me in presenting my top 10 collaborations, and more recently, conversations with Kula, playing as her in career mode on FIFA 16, and of course having a gun named after her as part of my Call of Duty series. Of course, let's not forget the anime inspired emblem that I have, with the original design emblem of Lucy from anime Elfen Lied, created by YouTuber AnimeCon Emblems. But the one thing I haven't really explained properly on this channel is this. Why do I like Kula Diamond? Why does a 28-year-old bearded man on YouTube like a video game character that is probably aimed at a younger demographic and of probably the female gender at best? It's a rather interesting analogy since I never even grew up with the King of Fighters series, because buying a Neo Geo in my neck of the woods was never even heard of. I was only entitled to game consoles such as the PlayStation, the Super Nintendo, and the Nintendo 64. It all started 3 to 4 years ago when I picked up this King of Fighters port on PS2 for £1 in my then local cash converters. It included 2 different KOF games, King of Fighters 2000 and King of Fighters 2011. Because I already had the knowledge that a Neo Geo console and its games were not only rare but also extremely expensive to get hold of, I felt that getting a port on the PS2 was my only option. So you could understand from my point of view that this was absolutely not something I could pass up. If I had not bought this game from cash converters, Kula would not be my channel's mascot today, so I have a lot to owe to this game. Playing this port was my first ever experience of the King of Fighters franchise, after I had some knowledge on it when I spent a lot of time downloading characters for a free to download community created customizable fighting game known as Mugen, released in July of 1999. Did you know that the word Mugen is taken from the actual Japanese word which means unlimited or infinite in English, illustrating clearly the purpose of the game itself. You are required to download an infinite number of fighting game characters so that you can customize your own fighting game roster. Plays a lot cooler than it sounds, if you know what I mean. So now that I've explained the origins of my interest in Kula, let's focus a lot now on her backstory in the KOF games. Kula Diamond is a being that was created by a secret organisation known as Nests. They are known to be a main antagonist throughout the second King of Fighters story arc, with their ultimate plan being world domination. Yeah, kinda cliche, wouldn't you say? This plan consists of collecting fighters' battle data in the tournaments that happen and then defeat them by using another team or one of their agents. In Kula's case, she had originally been sent by Nests to foil and exterminate K-Dash, who had originally betrayed the cartel. Kula's design is extremely likened to him, except her DNA had been altered slightly, which meant rather than using fire powers, K-Dash's traditional weapon, she was given the cryokinetic power, the ability to control and manipulate ice. To ensure that an immediate betrayal was not as straightforward as what happened with them and K-Dash, Ness created an android known as Kula Diamond that would be used to monitor Kula's behaviour and assure that she would accomplish her missions. Candy would also be used as an assistant to Kula if she was ever needed. Ness would also assign 2 top agents known as Diana and Foxy to supervise Kula, preventing any possibility of a future betrayal. Diana and Foxy's main task as supervisors was to set missions for Kula that would normally consist of exterminating traitors to the Nest's organisation, 2 of whom seemingly being Zero and Ignis. However, Kula had been known to disobey these orders, mainly for the sake of others. One of these primarily being the destruction of the Zero cannon, where Kula would decide to destroy it in an attempt to prevent destruction to the world. Candy would be there to assist her in her efforts, but in doing so would take her own life, leaving Kula to do nothing but grieve the loss of her lifelong friend. Following the death of Ignis, Nest would be destroyed entirely, and Kula would later become allies with K-Dash along with his companions Maxima and Whip, also known as Sarah. Kula would then be part of K-Dash's team for the King of Fighters games that followed. So what about Kula's personality? Kula is seen as an extremely innocent looking girl, but she has been known to have a few anger management issues, mainly due to others trying to talk down to her, underestimating her, and probably the more insulting of all the reasons, people reminding her of her origins and calling her a weapon. The only other known way of making Kula angry is if she sees flames. Despite all of this, however, Kula is known to have a very sensitive side, and it's all due to her hard-fought attempts to picture herself more like a human being rather than a weapon. She demonstrates this by not using her powers to maximum potential, preventing any type of intentional killing. Otherwise, this would bring to the surface a fear of going back to her previous ways when she was with Nests. This leads to her apologising to her opponents when she defeats them in battle. Kula's fighting style is simply known as anti-K-Dash arts. This is primarily based on K-Dash's moveset. One prime example is the 1-inch punch. However, it's adapted to accompany her ice power ability. She's able to fight using her ice skates, which are able to cut easily through flesh. Some of her more defensive strategies in battle consist of blocking opponents' attacks using a sheet of ice, which she can use to protect herself. Okay, so now Kula's backstory has been explained, I want to go straight into the main reasons for having a soft spot for this video game character. All of this despite the fact that as a 28-year-old male casual gamer, I should be notorious for playing games that us old gits would normally play. Like your FIFAs, your Call of Duties, your Dooms, your Duke Nukems, your Grand Theft Autos, your Battlefields, your Mortal Kombats, or any other stereotypical badass game that males are immediately drawn to. Scoring goals, blasting enemies with guns, seeing lots of blood, kicking the shit out of people, ripping out people's spinal cords, driving cars. These games make you feel like a king in the gaming world, or they make you feel empowered to the opposition. Kula Diamond is the feminine side of me that is completely underived from that usual box. She even has similar characteristics that emulate me in real life. Having a very sensitive side, meaning not wanting to hurt people so much, definitely one of my traits. She also has Diana and Foxy, whom despite them being her supervisors, she kind of treats them as parental figures. For example, her winning stance after beating her opponents usually results in her having an embracing moment with either Diana or Foxy. So what is she like in the video games? Fucking awesome! Some of the sprites in the earlier PS2 ports she's in are some of the best ever seen in a video game. There will be times where she will enter the stage in a badass fashion by teleporting, and then you'll see Diana directing her to face her opponent. Other times you'll see her celebrating at the end of a fight with Kula Diamond. You can see that even though Candy is seen as a monitor, her and Kula go hand in hand when it comes to friendship. Playing as her in the games, she's extremely versatile. She's used mainly as a zoning character, poking or straight up rushdown. If certain players can use her correctly, her poke game especially is extremely useful and it allows her to take control of a lot of matches. As stated earlier, some of her moves are derived straight from K-Dash's set, but altered to fit the ice powers that she has. Probably the one game that shows her true strength is in King of Fighters 11, whereby she's so overpowered to the point where it's virtually unfair, but I bloody love it. Freeze Execution and Diamond Edge are the names of her desperation moves, and they're really awesome to watch. For Freeze Execution, Diana flies out of Kula, travelling horizontally across the screen. On hit, she launches the opponent and Kula will spew out a screen-filling ice storm. Pretty fucking epic. Diamond Edge can be done in multiple ways, depending on how many gauges are saved up at the bottom of the screen. Kula will perform this move by summoning ice spikes from the ground simply by touching her palms on the ground, decimating her opponent on contact. I could pretty much go on about Kula being right up there with Adam Jensen from Deus Ex as one of my absolute favourite video game characters of all time, but to me, she's more than that. She allowed me to discover my inner feminism to gaming. She lured me in with her exquisite character design. She wowed me with her animations. The fact that she wields ice rather than fire makes her a different kind of person from the rest of the pack, another trait of mine. Her ability to show her sensitivity by caring for other people's safety, her love for so many people that she cares so much about, it's almost as if we have a video game character that emulates a female version of me. Well, if you exclude the fact that she has an incredible fetish for ice cream, calling a half-android Maxima uncle, and hating the idea of being in a massive crowd. Furthermore, she doesn't really like flames very much, does she? Probably not the best idea to have her around in this cabin, because during the wintertime especially, it does get extremely cold, which means I have to put a fire on. Yeah. Awkward. Well, at least I'm the only person living in this cabin, so there's less chance of there being any sort of crowd. Mind you, there is some person that, comes by my way. Almost looks just like me. No, that's for later. So there you go, guys. That is the end of my video of my like for Kula Diamond. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at ChrisMono9. Check me out on my Google, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitch, and of course, my eBay store. I still haven't been able to put anything up on that bloody thing, and I need to remind myself to bloody fucking put some stuff up so that people can buy stuff. What is wrong with me? But on that bombshell, make sure you do all of that I've just described. Check out my website at www.chrismono9.com. Make sure you do all of that. I have been Chris Mono Games as per usual, and until the next video, I shall see you later. Hiro and peace.